Captain Rogers, here are 4 new trainees assigned to your flight. Lieutenant Hopkins, O'Shea, Visconti, and Bollum. Hopkins?
Captain?
O'Shea?
How did it? Visconti.
Visconti? Bollum?
Yes, sir.
Sure is a big ship. Pretty hot to handle, sir?
Oh, I wouldn't say so. She's a mighty sweet airplane.
Comes in like a rocket the way it looks to me.
Oh, she's easier to land than you think.
Aren't there a lot of trick gadgets in this plane?
Well, not much more than you have in training planes. Just a few things you need for high-altitude work. And they put them where they're easy to use. It's got the roomiest cockpit of any fighter plane I've ever seen. Now, it's easy to fly if you just think about what you're doing.
I'll bet there isn't much time to think either.
Well, that's about all there is to do up there, Bollum. This ship flies just like any other airplane. You do about the same things you've always done. Of course, she doesn't fly herself, you know.
Does she feel very heavy in the air, sir? Sir, how fast will she dive?
When do you use the turbo?
Well, I think you guys get just a little bit ahead of me. Suppose we go into the pilot's room and we'll begin at the beginning. Well, plant yourselves, boys, while I climb out of this stuff. Well, now, if I'm going to help you fellows understand the P-47, the best thing for me to do is to dish out a lot of facts quickly. We can get together for questions whenever you have them. Now, plenty of our boys are moving up into combat zones ahead of their crews. And they're finding out that it comes in mighty handy to know a lot of details about their airplane. And this is the time to find those things out. Now, you should keep in mind that this airplane was built to give us our fastest, deadliest high-altitude fighter.
Sir, you say high altitude. What altitude do you mean?
Around 30,000 feet, between 25 and 35,000. Well, now you're going to be sitting up here behind 2,000 horsepower. That's a lot of power, but it's the best life insurance you can have. This airplane cost about $100,000, and they say it takes 30,000 man-hours to build it. I think it deserves some respect from pilots. Now, to handle the P-47 the way the Army expects you to, you should know everything possible about it before you take off the first time. You've got real armament and speed. You're not going to have any trouble with it because it's got good flying characteristics all the way. And it's good on landings. As for weight, well, you'll hear all the boys say you're never even conscious of this plane's weight anytime you've got flying speed. Well, now, let me show you how the P-47 is put together. To begin with, this is the biggest single-engine, single-seater in service. Has a wingspan just short of 41 feet. It's a little over 35 feet long, stands 12 feet 8 inches high, and weighs about 7 tons with a full load. The power plant is 2,000 horsepower with a turbo, and it swings a 4-bladed, 12-foot 2-inch Curtiss prop. Well, let's look at this power plant. This is an 18-cylinder Pratt & Whitney radial engine. It's the twin Wasp with 9 cylinders in each bank. Now, one of the first things I noticed about this airplane is that it's a smooth flying ship in every way. She'll pick up a lot faster than planes you've been flying. And your turbo will allow the engine to develop its full 2,000 horsepower at high altitude. You want to learn all about this prop. It's a Curtiss electrically controlled constant speed propeller. Now, the reason there are 4 blades is to have enough propeller area to absorb the power of this 2,000 horsepower engine. Right here, on the left side of the cockpit, is a switch panel with a selector switch that gives you positions for automatic or manual control of the propeller. You've got increase RPM and decrease RPM positions. Ordinarily, you'll use the automatic position. But if that should ever fail while you're flying, switch to manual and then increase or decrease RPM. Of course, you want to check your breaker switch first. Well, now here are your 2 self-sealing gas tanks. The main tank, forward of the cockpit, holds 205 gallons. Your auxiliary tank holds 100 gallons. The plane has better flying characteristics when this auxiliary tank is empty. So after takeoff, when you've reached a safe altitude, You switch to auxiliary and use this gas first to put the plane in better trim. There's a fuel level warning light on your instrument panel to tell you when you're down to 40 gallons in your main tank. Underneath the main and auxiliary tanks are electrically operated booster pumps. They're automatically on when fuel from that tank is being used. If the engine-driven pump fails, you turn your emergency and high-altitude rheostat to increase the speed of the booster pump.
Captain, what's the fuel consumption of the engine?
Well, that depends on your power and speed. For absolute minimum cruise, you'll use anywhere from 60 to 120 gallons an hour. However, at full military power, you'll consume as much as 275 to